The Doc is In is sponsored by Amada Senior Care.
Fox 56 News Chief Medical Contributor Dr. Ryan Stanton with us once again in studio.
This time he's focusing on why people may be a little hesitant with getting the RSV vaccine.
Well, it's not just the RSV vaccine. You know, the RSV vaccine has had a lot of positive uptake and about where the FDA thought it was going to be, but vaccines in general. And that's a big concern, is this waning interest in vaccines, especially vaccines in children. So let's talk about it. The vaccine interest has been dropping off, and that's a huge concern because in many ways and in many areas, people have forgotten what these things are preventing and what the impact it had in the past. Here we have, looking back at the early 2000s, the interest in vaccines, meaning extremely important or extremely and very important. But let me shift over here, looking at since 2020, when we started to get COVID-19 and the COVID vaccine, we've had that drop in the vaccination interest. Now that's very important because we have to have those increased rates of vaccination to provide that herd immunity and protect from significant diseases that we've seen in the past. So let's actually transition to what we see in terms of that decrease. How are they important? Diphtheria, 100% of case reduction, 100% of death reduction. Measles, 99.99% reduction, 100% reduction in death. That doesn't mean zero, that means the relative, close to 100 rounded up. Mumps, 97.4 reduction, 100% in deaths. Pertussis, 96.6, 99.7. Look at polio. Polio, one of the most devastating diseases that was out there in terms of not only morbidity but mortality as well, 100% decrease. The vaccination era has significantly decreased the impact of insanely terrible diseases, but unfortunately we are a victim of our own successes at this point, meaning we've been so successful at preventing these diseases, we've forgotten how significant those diseases are. Let's transition to one more graph from Statista and look at these numbers again. The cases. Back in the 20th century, measles, we averaged 530,000 cases per year in the United States. In 2021, which was a low year because of COVID, we had 9. Looking at pertussis, which we've been talking about, pertussis or whooping cough, 200,000 average, 1,609. So 99% or greater reduction in these cases. So the importance of getting these childhood vaccinations, the most important thing is don't fall victim to all of that negative that you're seeing out there. The misinterpretation of the VAERS data or the reporting data is very important to keep in mind because there's a lot of bad information out there. Vaccines are safe, and when it talks about the potential risks associated with those vaccines, they're near zero, meaning a significant reaction, not even a death, is about 1 in a million vaccination administrations, and that's just an allergic reaction.
I feel like social media has just played a terrible role in this because so much stuff gets spewed out there on those platforms.
Yeah, and there's a lot of data that's out there, looking back at the Cold War, about repeating unfortunate and false information eventually leads to believing that information, and that's what we're seeing right now.
Well, we really appreciate your 2 segments this morning.
And the bonus.
Plus your cameo, and what day is it? Thank you
What
very
day
much.
it is. And next time, I may actually know what day it is prior to being what day it is.
Yeah.
And then you'll probably
It's
ask for
custards.
a raise or something like that.
Frozen custard, extra egg.
Thanks so much, Doc.